Jack, 2025 has been an incredible year for some in WWE. It has been a struggle for some in WWE, but we're going to move that to the side and we are going to talk 2026 breakout stars. And for this, I mean people that are going to get the big push in 2026, not the rookies coming up from NXT, not the signings coming in from other places in the world. The people that are on the roster that you and I both feel are going to get a major push in 2026. I'm going to let you start this one off and just give that easy analysis on why that person deserves a push.
I think the writing is currently on the wall, and we're kind of telling the story as slow as we can possibly tell it, to Jey Uso taking over the reins of the bloodline in 2026. In some capacity, Jey Uso is going to be booked as, I don't want to use the term tribal chief, because he has to beat Roman Reigns to become the tribal chief, and I don't see them doing Reigns versus Jey Uso in tribal combat anytime within the next 12 months, if I'm being honest. But I think Jey Uso is going to be the quote-unquote OTC2, the guy that's going to lead the bloodline while Roman Reigns watches from a distance as the part-timer that he is. And I think Jey Uso is going to be primed for probably the biggest heel run that we have seen in quite some time. From someone that, if you asked me 6 months ago, I would never put him as a heel again.
It's kind of funny the way you say that too, because if you watched anything from WWE Unreal, we saw that Triple H and that moment with Jey Uso saying, "We're going to strap a rocket to you." Here's the thing. They didn't say it was going to be a positive. It was going to be a face rocket. There's so much more to strapping a rocket to someone, and being a dominant heel in WWE is just as difficult for someone that has solely been a face in their singles run. So I can see Jey Uso being a major player in 2026, a potential another world title run, depending on where they go with the whole Vision situation with Seth Rollins. But I agree. I think Jey Uso does get a big push, but I was going to go a little bit of a different direction. I was going to say this is going to be a major singles breakout year for Jimmy Uso, because we've already seen kind of the breakout for Jey Uso in 2024, early 2025, and that major heel run. But Jimmy seems to have been lost in the shuffle for quite some time, being, teamed up with Truth for a little bit in a storyline. He's kind of been lost in the shuffle with so many random storylines that doesn't fit an Uso or a bloodline member or a Fatu, if you will. It just hasn't fit. And I think with what they're building with this little rivalry between Jimmy and Jey, arguably the rivalry we should have gotten at WrestleMania 40, like the build to that match that really culminated to, well, what it culminated to. This build starting where we are at with this recording going into Crown Jewel of 2025, there's enough time to build a serious feud to have the fallout of that to be, Jimmy Uso being that major face, falling out of that, and Jey going one way and Jimmy going another way. So we could be running that back. So I think Jimmy also has a major opportunity, especially in the mid card with the Dominic Mysterios, the Finn Balor's, because I don't think Judgment Day are going to stick together much longer. But I think there's a lot of opportunity for Jimmy Uso. So I think it's crazy that our first two were both Usos. I genuinely didn't think we were both going to go with Usos to start that off.
I mean, it's only natural if Jey is a breakout heel that Jimmy gets a breakout solos push. So in some category, hopefully winning his first singles championship, like whether that be US title or an intercontinental title. That'd be cool to see.
It would be nice to see. So anyway, so we both started with Usos. Who do you got next?
I'm going to go a little bit off the deep end with this one. There's the obvious ones. There's the obvious faces and the obvious heels that we could choose from, right? That you'll probably say next, and I'll probably say after this. I'm going to say in 2026, we are going to see a breakout heel run from CM Punk.
Interesting.
CM Punk in 2026 at some point is going to cross roads, no pun intended, with Cody Rhodes. I think I predicted it in our WrestleMania predictions for 42 and 43 that CM Punk and Cody Rhodes were going to face off at WrestleMania 42 for the WWE Championship. I still think that is in play. I don't know what it's going to shape out to be with all these different moving factors heading into Survivor Series, but I think it's in play, and it's the last pure babyface versus babyface feud that they've been teasing since CM Punk first came back to WWE in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, it's never too good enough to be babyface versus babyface. We saw it with John Cena and Cody Rhodes. It's just they're not going to do it that way. Someone's going to turn, and it's not going to be the white meat babyface Cody Rhodes. No, no, no. CM Punk, I could see him turning heel in a way that almost resembled the Straight Edge Society back in 2010. Or honestly, they could even replicate the Straight Edge Society. I mean, the Straight Edge Society could have reached heights if they didn't pull it out from underneath Punk quicker than they did. I don't know why they did it. But CM Punk, as the leader of this straight edge movement, we don't drink, we don't smoke, we don't do drugs, we're better than you because of this. People want to boo that. CM Punk's a really good, if not one of the best heels we've ever seen when he's at his best. And at some point, the WWE Universe is, we've seen a lot of CM Punk.
Yeah.
Are we ever going to get sick of him? Maybe not. But, how many more fresh feuds does he have on the babyface side? He could elevate a Braun Breaker, I guess. I don't really want to see him versus Bronson Reed because I just don't believe that Punk could go toe-to-toe with a monster like that and have it be believable, if I'm being honest. I just don't find that to be, a sexy feud that I'd want to watch. Why not have him turn, feud with Cody Rhodes, feud with Roman Reigns? I mean, there's still a lot of meat left on that bone. Feud with LA Knight as a heel.
Yep.
And just completely rip the crowd to shreds. Hell, WWE, as far as I'm concerned with what I'm seeing with Paul Levesque and Stephanie McMahon being at the White House with Donald Trump, they're a very conservative company. Why not have CM Punk be that guy who says liberals are better than everybody on camera and make it a little bit political? I told you it was going to be out of left field. This is my out of left field pick that CM Punk is going to be a massive heel with Jey Uso as a massive heel as well in 2026.
That would be like going down Marvel's, timeline of different avenues and worlds. I can't think of the terminology for it right now, but the multiverse, there you go, the multiverse of madness, that would be WWE. Imagine in 2024, we're sitting back talking about CM Punk being one of the biggest heels and, Jey Uso being one of the biggest heels and a world champion in 2026. People would think we were crazy. I'm not touching the CM.
To shake things up. We already know this. They're bringing in Road Dogg Jesse James to shake things up. I don't know how that's going to shake things up.
Oh, he's been there.
Do things that fans wouldn't expect.
Fair. I'm not touching CM Punk. I think CM Punk is just going to coast through his contract personally and just get the opportunities that he didn't get under Vince and just be the good soldier, as Killer Cross would say. But I'm not touching CM Punk. I think CM Punk is just going to coast through to WrestleMania. He's going to get that moment again, probably night one. And then he's going to probably get one more title run in him through to Survivor Series. And then I think 2028, he's basically done. So I'm not touching CM Punk. I'm going with another end of the spectrum. Someone who is a veteran as well, but in their youth. I am going with Dirty Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Dirty Dom already in 2025 has shown that in a faction, he can hold his own with the group behind him. But with what they have done, and I said this to you months ago, that they had to put the AAA Mega Championship on Dominic Mysterio. They have done that, which means they feel that he can be the face of a company. You know what I mean? And he is probably going to carry that for quite some time. The IC title, he's not really done a lot with it. It's always been lie, cheat, steal, very Eddie Guerrero. But his timing is so good. His work on the mic, whether it's a long promo or a short little one-liner, the timing of everything Dominic Mysterio has done, and it shows why he's a 20-year veteran in WWE. It shows it. So at the end of the day, 2026, once the Judgment Day finally collapses, probably with the return of Liv Morgan, the Judgment Day is going to collapse because she's going to burn it down. Like, no, not to steal from Seth Rollins. Liv Morgan's going to return and burn down Judgment Day. That's how this is all going to fall apart. Dominic Mysterio by himself, like even the stuff that's going on with Rusev right now, really says they've got faith. If Rusev wants to do this type of work, he got brought back to WWE probably under the idea that he's going to be in solid feuds. Well, the fact that he's okay with working with Dominic Mysterio in this facet is amazing. So Dominic Mysterio is going to have a breakout 2026. I'm going to say this, Dominic Mysterio's in the final 4 of the Royal Rumble.
Do you think he'll break out as a babyface or a heel?
Oh no, you can't make Dom a face. I don't think Dom can be a face.
Well, do you remember that pop he got at Mania 41 when he won?
Yep. But that was because of the build to the match and everything that he had been doing so well as a heel. Just remember, wrestling fans appreciate a good heel just like they appreciate a good face. Wrestling fans are getting smarter. Just after WrestleMania, WWE had to shift to make him a bad guy again, to make him despicable again. But you go to towns like Toronto, Chicago, you look at London, you look at Dallas, and you look at the likes of Vegas, are all very heel style cities. So yeah, of course, Dom's going to get a pop as a heel, but like, he's not always going to get a pop as a face. I think people expect Dominic Mysterio to be a heel. I'm not saying he's never going to be a face, but people expect Dom as a heel. That greasy, the thing that his dad never could be. That's where I'm going to leave that at. Dominic Mysterio, massive 2026. What do you got next?
Rey Mysterio, the final current WWE superstar that never turned heel, by the way.
Yep, exactly.
Let's talk about more despicable heels that everybody loves to hate. I'm going with my next guy as a breakout star being Logan Paul. Logan Paul has put on amazing matches, most recently with John Cena. He put on a great match with AJ Styles at WrestleMania. He had a great tag team match against Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso at Money in the Bank. Logan Paul is primed for a big 2026, and it's going to be I don't see Logan Paul ever turning face unless it's like 10 years from now and he's still in the company. Like, people love to rag on Logan Paul, but here's my biggest breakout take as to why Logan Paul is going to be big in 2026. I think 2026 is the year, Steve. I think 2026 is the year that WWE pulls the trigger and absolutely makes their fan base despise them and put a world title on Logan Paul. Whether that be the WWE title, whether that be the World Heavyweight Championship on Monday Night Raw, I think at some point in 2026, hell, it could be January 1st, it could be December 31st of 2026. My prediction is that Logan Paul will be a world champion by the end of 2026.
You want to hear this? I'm going to piggyback off of that and go and double back to what I just said about Dominic Mysterio not being able to be a face. There's your feud for either the IC title or late in 2026, the world title or whatever. Because you can have Seth and Punk and all those guys doing their like blood feuds. And if you want to do something with a title, there's your feud. Dominic Mysterio versus Logan Paul. Two up-and-comers, young, willing to work for the bit. Well, I'm just saying you could switch one of them. I can see Logan as a face. It can happen.
No one wants to cheer Logan Paul.
Nobody over the age of 25 wants to cheer for Logan.
Wrong. I think everybody wants to boo Logan Paul. I don't think kids like Logan Paul. I don't think adults like Logan Paul.
Hey, you look at all those prime signs.
Logan Paul even said it himself. He doesn't get heel heat. He gets go away heat.
Yeah, he gets
Even
Baron
though
Corbin
so
going.
good, he's great. He's a great superstar. But like Logan Paul just comes off as the most brashy, annoying little prick that we've ever seen in professional wrestling.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
maybe part of that is because he's so damn good for not actually like being known as a pro wrestler and him just like coming into the WWE world and taking it over. But like people legitimately want to boo that guy. Like nobody wants to cheer Logan. I think people want to cheer Dom Mysterio more than they want to cheer Logan Paul.
And that's why I said that the first part of my comment was that I would double back on what I said and we could put Dom as a face in that situation. So, you know, Logan Paul, Dominic Mysterio could be a 10 year feud if they do it right. If they did it right and they both stayed healthy, that could be your longevity feud, say on the SmackDown brand. You've got the likes of Braun Breaker and everyone else that are billed as the faces of WrestleMania for the next 10 years. Logan Paul, people got to stop sleeping on Logan Paul and Dominic Mysterio as well.
I'll say this. I think Logan Paul and Dominic Mysterio could be the most hated tag team champions of all time if they wanted to go that route too.
Interesting. You're forgetting La Resistance. Just saying. You're forgetting La Resistance. So, I'm going to stick with one more male, and then I'm going to go into the females, because I have 3 females on my list that I think are going to be massive breakout stars. But I hope Rikishi gets to see this podcast or this clip in some way, because I listened to his podcast the other day and he had some gripes with another family member and their booking. And I think that changes in 2026 with the booking of Jacob Fatu. Jacob has arguably been a fan favorite since coming into WWE, even as a heel and being teamed up with Solo. But everybody sees the aura, the dominance, and aura. I think aura gets passed around a little too much in pro wrestling right now, but Jacob Fatu, when his music hits and he's in the ring or even on camera, his presence is just there, right? So with 2026 coming around, I think his individual singles run after this feud with Drew McIntyre is really going to solidify him in that. It's going to pull him out of the mid card and it's going to put him up in that main event conversation. And like I said, with my last pick with Dominic Mysterio, Royal Rumble 2026, I'm putting Jacob Fatu in the Final Four as well. So I'm just saying, Jacob's going to have one hell of a year, and he will be a face, and people are going to go mental about it. We don't need no bloodline around Jacob. Jacob can run as his own man. He can cut a promo. He's violent. He's dominant. And I think the reason they're putting him in this feud with Drew currently is to show that he can play in the area of the top 5 of the main people in WWE, because you can't say Drew is not in the top 5 right now when it comes to superstars in WWE.
To me, this is like currently a lose-lose feud between Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre. Yeah, one person's going to get elevated, but one person's going to get hit again where they don't need to be hit, and it's going to be Drew. You know this feud is built or is made to look, it's built to make, they're building this to make Jacob Fatu be the star coming out of this feud.
No, they're not.
Fatu. It's not. I don't think it's to elevate Drew McIntyre.
It's not to elevate Drew. It's to piss Drew off even more that another Samoan has gotten in his way to his goals. That's what they're doing here. It's another Samoan.
You're just playing the same old Drew McIntyre complains about everything angle. Like at some point he's got to win.
And he will. I just don't know where. But this Jake, there's no lose with this. You've got 2 guys that get major pops for 2 different reasons. Yes, like you mentioned with Logan Paul. Logan Paul gets go away heat. Drew McIntyre gets heat, but we want more of this because he does it in such a good way. Drew doesn't have go away heat. Drew has feed me more heat.
We're at the point though where we're just genuinely frustrated with his booking though.
Who's we?
Like, how many times can he lose?
It depends how he loses. If he gets, like, okay, granted, I don't think he should have lost that feud against Priest. That was ridiculous to me.
I wouldn't say he lost it. They split it. He just lost the last match.
But yeah, but that was kind of like the go home match with that. So it was kind of him losing the feud. He loses to Jacob, but Jacob, you know, I hate to say this, runs him over with a car, or, you know, does something very Jacob Fatu-esque. It can't be, oh, I hit you 7 times with a chair. That's not how this is going to go. This is going to be a despicable feud. Like, Jacob, they're going to beat the shit out of each other. And I think that's the reason Drew is okay with taking this feud, because it's going to be so sadistic that they're going to go to places that, you know, only the likes of like Bray Wyatt, Stone Cold would go. Taker and Kane would go. I don't know why people are hating on this feud so much, because I see a bigger picture if WWE is willing to book it this way. But then again, it comes down to, is WWE willing to cross certain lines with this feud? If they do, then yes, I'm ready. But if they don't, then yes, you're absolutely right. It's a lose-lose for both parties.
Let's continue this conversation with my next pick. So my next breakout star is Drew McIntyre.
Okay.
I don't know. You got to book them both to be strong. This has to end in like an Iron Man match between Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu, where they pull out all the stops and everybody looks strong regardless of what the result of the match is. I think by the end of 2026, heading into 2027, I don't know what Drew McIntyre's WrestleMania 42 plans are going to be, but here's how I'd like his WrestleMania 43 plans to shape out. Now, hear me out, Steve. We talked about WrestleMania 43 already in Saudi Arabia. Mm-hmm. It's going to be massive. They're going to throw money at every big legend, every big superstar that the WWE has ever had and has ever seen. Remember, I pitched Rock versus Roman. I still think that's the match that is more realistically to happen for a Legends match at WrestleMania 43 than any other matches that we probably discussed. Mm-hmm. The other Legends match I discussed was Stone Cold Steve Austin versus CM Punk. That was a dream match 15 years ago, 10 years ago. Do we desperately want to see it now? No, but if it's on the table, we'll take it.
Yeah.
What if they went in a different direction? What if they build Drew McIntyre up to be what he's been for the past 2 years, and that's just like a whiny, moany little bitch who also speaks the truth, also says he's bored at work, is tweeting during the shows, is just playing this very real, genuine, and ironic heel character, and you put him up against Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 43. That is a feud. That is a feud, and that is a match. If Stone Cold Steve Austin comes back for one final match with the Saudi blood money on his way, that's a match I can get into.
Yeah, I
if
could
they
get into
build
that
that properly on the microphone, Drew McIntyre versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. I don't know how you build Drew up right now from where he's currently feuding with Jacob Fatu, and you get him over the next year and a half over that hump to get him to that next level. And I don't think he needs to get to the next level, quote unquote, because I think he's there. Like, he's that ironic and he's that real. But Stone Cold versus Drew McIntyre, that's an interesting feud that I could get behind if they book that correctly for WrestleMania 43.
It's an interesting conversation, that's for sure. So, but again, I don't see the lose-lose in the Jacob feud, but I think both of them could be heavily elevated, especially with maybe Seth and Punk and Roman all taking time off maybe after WrestleMania next year, depending on how that plays out. So there needs to be fillers at the top of the table, and I think Drew has definitely earned that spot somewhere up there. So I'm going with the women, and I don't know who I want to start with first, so I'm just going to pick the one on my list first. Lyra Valkyria. This woman has had an incredible 2025. Like, it started a little rocky where like you couldn't really believe some of the stuff she was saying. And with her winning the being the first women's Intercontinental champion, like you're like, okay, like there was definitely women in that category that we expected more. Like I think we all expected Dakota Kai to come out with that, but we obviously saw WWE with other plans, with like literally releasing her like 2 months later. But Lyra, after losing the IC title to Becky and going into that feud with Becky, and now with what she's doing with Bayley, like everything Lyra does, I'm actually interested in now. Like she's not that one, like she's not Chicken Lady anymore. She's not coming out flapping her wings, having okay matches, and every time she grabs the mic, you're like, oh God, here we go. It's like, oh shit, like Lyra's actually interesting. There's going to be something for Lyra in the future. Like, I don't see her dethroning Rhea or Stephanie, but I definitely see her as a major player in the future. Maybe this bond with Bayley grows into Lyra turning heel, and we actually saw this possibility on Monday Night Raw this past week with the attack backstage. You know, that's not very Lyra. She's kind of following in the craziness of, Bayley right now, and we still don't know what's going on there, but this could be Bayley being that mentor to Lyra, but in a heel-esque way, So I think Lyra is going to have a serious breakout 2026. I think there's titles upon titles in her future, and she could potentially be, I'm not saying the next Becky Lynch, but she's definitely going to be up there as someone that we're going to remember, and not someone that we're going to think about, oh, they wrestled at WWE once.
I'll give you her biggest rival in 2026. Bayley.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the build is. I mean, I know eventually Bayley's going to turn on Lyra. I mean, the writing's on the wall there. I just don't know how slow or how fast they're going to play it out. And I don't know how slow or fast they're going to play out this whole craziness, I'm battling my demons gimmick that they're doing right now. And I don't know what that leads to. Maybe there's a bigger story there. Maybe she's hearing not just her voices, but maybe she's hearing like Alexa Bliss's voices, Uncle Howdy's voices. I don't know if there's any connection there to be made, but there's something. I don't know even if they have the answers for it yet, but they're building to some sort of very wicked horror heel turn for Bayley. And it's going to be very, 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 very interesting to see. And our first victim is going to be Lyra Valkyria. And again, it's going to be like the Jacob and Drew thing, where it's like, you're going to have to elevate both people in that story. Yeah. But I do think in that feud, if booked correctly, Bayley's got to look really strong to continue that heel ride of whatever this angle there, in whichever direction that they're going with this. She has to look strong. Lyra has to come out of it looking like the next big baby face of WWE for the next decade or two. They both got to look strong, but I think Bayley versus Lyra Valkyria is going to be one of the top, if not the top, women's feud of 2026.
That would, I could get behind that feud for sure. Let's do one more and then quick honorable mentions. Who do you got?
I am going to go with someone that probably wasn't on my radar to start to have a big year. But I can see him having a big year, especially if Cody Rhodes is still in the WWE title picture. And that's Randy Orton.
Ooh.
Randy Orton, I think, could have a big 2026 as the 15-time WWE champion if they book it in a way where Randy Orton just owns Cody Rhodes all year long. The mentor challenging the protege, beating him down all year long only for Cody Rhodes to win it back at some point. Now, there's going to be a time, too, where Cody Rhodes is going to have to be out of the title scene indefinitely, and I wonder what their plan is for that. I mean, they could put the title on whoever they want, but Cody Rhodes has to tell compelling feuds with people without a title. Maybe you do that without the WWE Championship with Randy Orton.
I don't think that Randy I would like to see is get his 15th, but I don't think you need to have the title in the picture to fight with Cody.
No, then you could have Cody or Randy to transition the title to someone like another guy that could break out, Sami Zayn. I mean, they've been kind of like pushing that way for a while now, of Sami
Yeah.
Zayn winning his first ever world championship, whether that be WWE or World Heavyweight. He's doing the U.S. Open challenges, the Javante,
Javon.
the Javon Williams,
Javon
Adams,
Evans. Javon Evans.
Evans.
Jesus Christ.
See, you're the NXT guy. This is why I'm the main roster guy, and it's why I'm the heel too. People would boo me right now if this was live. Javon Evans had a great one-on-one match with Sami Zayn. Almost had another. Even a guy like the guy that calls himself him, right?
Carmelo Hayes.
Carmelo Hayes is like primed to have a big year. He's obviously going to win this feud that he's obviously having now with The Miz, and The Miz is going to elevate him to the next level.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys. Those are my few honorable mentions. I think Randy Orton's going to have a big breakout year, and I think Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn. Say his name again. My brain's farting.
Javon Evans.
Not Javon Evans.
Carmelo Hayes.
Carmelo Hayes. I think Carmelo Hayes could have a big breakout year.
I think my last three, I think the obvious one is Braun Breaker, and that's why I didn't bring him up earlier, because I think Braun Breaker is just obvious that he's going to have a massive 2026. We don't really need to go into that. The dismemberment of the Vision is probably going to happen sooner rather than later. I'm going to go with two more women. Julia. I think she's been booked horribly, even though she's a U.S. champion right now. Julia definitely deserves kind of the Stephanie Vaquer treatment. I don't know why she has Kiana James, but we'll see how that plays out. And then finally, when the dismemberment of Judgment Day happens, I think Roxanne Perez is off to the races as a main, and her main feud against Liv Morgan when Liv Morgan returns is going to be phenomenal. So I think those are my breakout stars. Guys, in the comment section, let us know who do you guys think is going to be a major breakout star on the main roster. Guys, let us know on the main roster who you think is going to be a major breakout star down in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and put the bell on for all notifications. Follow us on all our social medias, and don't forget to follow the newsletter. The link is down below. Like always, see you tomorrow.